So hey guys, I'm very excited to be talking to you today about Arianna's Quest, which is the first book in the Eldria Chronicles. So I'm Sangamitra Natraj and I run the podcast Dragon Dreams Official, which is a podcast for writing tips and tricks and techniques. And yeah, so today I'm going to be talking to you about the process of writing and why I started writing Arianna's Quest. So about Arianna's Quest, I wrote the book by I finished it by November 2019, but the idea for it came in 2013 or 14, like late 2013 I think. So I had this idea about a princess who was disguised as a gypsy. Now, this seems like a very regular fantasy trope, I know, but I had this idea and a series of other interconnected ideas about three kingdoms and one kingdom which was, always in shadows and mysterious and nobody knew about it, called the Shadowlands. And then I had this idea for a queendom, and then the story started evolving. I think I built it in my head, like the entire story, around I don't know, 2014, because I remember sitting down at the library one day with my friend and telling him the entire story. It took me an hour because there was a lot of back and forth and explanations and things like that. But yeah, that was the first time that I told the story. And over the course of the years, like between 2014 and 2017, I think, I would have told it to around 5 or 6 people, and all of them seemed to enjoy the story. So I thought, okay, why not try writing it? So I had a couple of false starts. I think in between, I just tried to write the first chapter. I started at the point where, the gypsy reveals that she is not actually a gypsy. She wasn't born this way. She had a very different life. And I think a couple of times I tried to start at, okay, I shouldn't reveal this because it's a spoiler. So I'm not going to tell you where, but then it starts in the middle of the story. And for some reason it wasn't working out. So I'd always write maybe a chapter, maybe 2 chapters, and then abandon it. And then it was in 2019, May, I decided that I was going to write this novel no matter what, and I was going to learn how to write a novel. So I decided I was going to do it on a platform where I could get feedback from my readers. And that's how I started writing the story called The Legend of Arianna in Wattpad. And I'd publish a chapter maybe, twice a week, or in between it was every day. And then I went a couple of months without like a single chapter. People thought it was in hiatus, and then they came back and yeah, they asked me to continue it. And then I had a couple of beta readers. One was my friend's mom and another was like a friend from college, and they'd read and they'd give me feedback on what I'd done, and then I'd submit it for reviews on Wattpad competitions. And yeah, I think it took me about 8 months to finish the first draft. At first I just let it rest over there because I wanted somebody to read the entire story, and then I believed like if I got feedback, if people enjoyed it, then I'd really like it. And after that, I thought, like, if it's a story that people enjoy, why not try for traditional publication? So I took it down from Wattpad and I revised the first draft into a second draft, and that took like a long time. I let the manuscript rest for about, I think, 3 or 4 months without doing anything to it, and then after that I submitted to Penguin DAW. So that that was about April 2020, I think. And I looked at Bain Books, but on their site it said that they needed 100,000 words. I had 92 in the second draft first draft was 80,000. It grew by a lot of words because I don't really use a lot of description when I'm writing. So I'm an underwriter basically. So every time I edit, the manuscript just grows in words. And then I thought, okay, if I need to submit it to Bain Books, it would need a third revision. And then I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go ahead with that. And so I just thought, okay, I'll wait for, Penguin to, see what their decision was. And they didn't want the manuscript at that time. So, yeah, I found that out about September or so, I think. But then I wasn't really sitting around and just, waiting for them to get back. At that time, I was writing other things as well. So I wrote like 5 short stories for Kyoto Press for publishing in various anthologies. And then I finished a solo collection of 15 short stories that I think I'm going to bring out mid this year. And a novella, a science fiction novella called The Remembering. So I experimented with pantsing. That is no outlining, just getting down, writing the story as it comes. So that was a very fun experiment, and I think I'm going to continue that and make it a trilogy of novellas. So yeah, then I wrote these, and then I started a couple of other projects, and also I had applications to do, so I was writing those essays. And I didn't really notice like a lot of time had passed between submitting to Penguin and now. And then I thought, what if I give it for traditional publishing and they don't allow me to write the rest of the books in the series. So this idea for the series came rather late. I had concepts or plots for about 7 or 8 books, but I hadn't connected it like as a series then. So as I was making the first draft into the second draft, that is during the editing process, I came up with this like little idea that connects all of these plots or books. And then I realized, okay, this could be a series. This is not like a series in the traditional sense where it's a single protagonist and they go through all of these adventures. This is a series of interconnected novels. They're not really integrated, but then yeah, they take place in different times and they all have different characters. But yeah, there is a thread of connection running through them. So yeah, I forget what the term is for that. But then yeah, that's what the Chronicles of Elthreha is. And yeah, so I was afraid if I did give it for traditional publishing, what if they don't let me publish the entire series? Because there are cases in which I had this author I loved very much, and then she published her first book and the second book, and nobody ever got to read the third book in the trilogy because they cancelled it. And then I was heartbroken because the second book in the series ended with a cliffhanger, and I really wanted to know what came after that. And I would be devastated if that happened like here, because I had this like extended arc that ends only in the 10th book or 7th book, or I don't know how many will come in between, like if there are going to be novellas or things like that. So I would really like to take the story to the finish, and if I'm not able to, then that would be very, very sad. So I decided somewhere in October or November that I would go revise the draft again and maybe self-publish it. I was considering this idea, and then I came across Wolf Press. So Wolf Press told me that they would be okay with publishing the entire series, and that was when I had this ray of hope that I didn't have to go to either extreme, either traditional or self-publishing. There was indie publishing, and this press is run by an amazing person. And yeah, I think I finally got the confidence to try entrust my book in the hands of a publisher who treat it properly. And we discuss like every part of the process, right from what should come on the back matter. I don't believe in having reviews on the back. I would prefer, a blurb that told you the story, because frankly, if I pick up a book, I would prefer to know what's on the back side rather than, like what other people thought about it. I'd like to, form my own opinion of the book based off the blurb. And yeah, and there's also going to be a map, which I'm very excited about. The first map that I made kind of was in pencil and paper, and it was very clumsy, but then I think maps are a very important, you know, maps are a very important part of a fantasy novel, because you create a world in your head, and it's really difficult to show how that looks to a reader. You already have to do a lot of world building, so maps help you in communicating that in a visual form to the reader, which is like very useful, and it makes it your own place. Like, how do you have a country without having a map of that country? Like, how do you know where the boundaries end? So yeah, so it's tiny little things like that that are very important in the publisher and author relationship. And yeah, I think I'm very happy with how this is going, and I'm really excited because the pre-order link will go live soon for Arianna's Quest. And yeah, that would be end of Jan 2021. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to what people think of it. It's been revised again and again and gone through like a couple of rounds of edits, and it's, yeah, if any editing errors have managed to make it to the final draft, I respect them for the tenacity, because there's been a lot of editing done. And yeah, I would really love it if you guys would get the book and give it a read and leave reviews or give me feedback on how you thought it was, or what things I could work on, because that would really help in the upcoming novels for the Chronicles of Eltriha. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.